Stop scrolling for 1 second and look at this man. He's crucified. On nothing. No cross. No wood. No nails. No blood. Just 8 floating cubes, hanging in darkness like a paper box that's been ripped open and never folded back. This is Salvador Dalí's Crucifixion, painted in 1954, and it might be the strangest religious painting ever made. Because Dalí wasn't just painting Jesus, he was painting a shape that cannot exist in our universe. Scientists call it a hypercube, and nobody, not you, not me, not even Einstein, can actually picture one in their head. So why would a man famous for melting clocks and burning giraffes decide that this impossible geometry was the only way to paint God? Stick around, it gets weirder. To understand this painting, you have to understand where Dalí was in his life. By the 1940s, the wild, dreamlike Dalí, the one who painted melting watches and burning giraffes, was changing. He'd moved to America, he'd been kicked out of the official surrealist movement, and he'd developed an obsession with something new. He called his new phase nuclear mysticism, a strange personal blend of Catholic faith, atomic physics, and mathematics. He wanted to prove that God and science weren't enemies, that the mystery of religion could be expressed through the mystery of modern physics. This painting was going to be the proof. Here's the part that breaks people's brains. You know how a cube can be unfolded into a flat cross shape? 6 squares laid out on paper, ready to be folded up into a box. Kids do this in school. Now imagine doing that 1 dimension higher. A hypercube, also called a tesseract, is a 4-dimensional cube. We can't see 4 dimensions. We physically cannot. Our eyes and brains only process 3. But mathematicians can still describe what a hypercube would look like if you unfolded it into our world. And when you do that, you get 8 cubes arranged in a cross. That cross-shaped unfolding is exactly what Dalí put behind Christ. Now look closer at Christ himself. No crown of thorns, no nail holes, no blood. His body is smooth, muscular, almost glowing, more like a Renaissance sculpture than a man being executed. This was deliberate. Traditional crucifixion paintings show suffering, torn skin, agony, death. Dalí refused all of it. Because in his vision, this isn't a man dying. It's a being passing through dimensions. The suffering of the body doesn't matter anymore, because the body itself is becoming something beyond 3-dimensional reality. Pain belongs to our world. This Christ is already leaving it. At the bottom of the painting, a woman looks up. That's Gala, Dalí's wife, muse, and, by most accounts, the emotional center of his entire life. She appears in dozens of his paintings, but here she plays something specific, the witness. The one still standing in our world, looking up at a miracle she cannot fully comprehend. She's on solid ground, on a checkered floor, 3-dimensional, ordinary human. Christ is above her, dissolving into the 4th dimension. The gap between them is the entire idea of the painting, the space between what we can understand and what we can only have faith in. That checkerboard floor isn't just decor. Dalí uses it constantly across his work as a symbol of measurable, rational 3-dimensional space. The world of logic, geometry, physics as we normally know it. It's flat, predictable, every square identical. It represents the world we live in and can measure with a ruler. And rising directly out of that measurable world is a shape that cannot be measured by any ruler we own. Dalí is showing us the exact boundary between the physics we understand and the physics, or theology, we don't. Here's a detail almost nobody notices without seeing the actual canvas up close, not a photo. If you stand in front of the real painting at the Metropolitan Museum in New York, you can make out faint ghostly faces worked into the shading of Christ's knees. Small, repeated images tucked into the paint itself. It's the kind of obsessive hidden detail that photographs flatten out completely. Dalí was famous for burying secrets like this in his technique. Little signatures only visible to someone standing there, in the room, with the actual paint. It's a reminder that no screen, no video, not even this one, can fully show you what this painting is doing. Dalí himself gave us a clue to how he wanted this understood. He described Christ's body as becoming, in his words, a kind of metaphysical 9th cube, the missing piece that completes the unfolded shape. Count the cubes forming the cross. 8. Add the body of Christ suspended among them, and you get 9. the exact number of faces a tesseract needs to be closed into its full 4-dimensional form. In other words, Christ's body isn't just placed near the hypercube. Mathematically, symbolically, Dalí is saying Christ's body completes it. The sacrifice is the missing dimension itself. So why does this one painting keep resurfacing online, in museum crowds, in videos exactly like this one 70 years after it was made? Because it does something almost no other religious art attempts. It tries to paint a mystery using an actual real mathematical object. Not a metaphor, not a symbol borrowed from nature, but an honest-to-God geometric shape that our brains are physically incapable of fully picturing. Every generation rediscovers this painting, because every generation is still trying to answer the same question Dalí was asking. Is there something real that exists just outside what we're built to perceive? A fourth dimension, a divine dimension, a mathematical dimension. Take your pick. Dalí just gave it a shape. Stand in front of Corpus Hypercubus long enough, and it stops feeling like a painting about religion or even about mathematics. It starts feeling like a painting about limits. The limits of what a human eye can see, what a human mind can hold, what a flat canvas can even contain. Dalí spent his whole career trying to paint things that shouldn't be paintable. Melting time, floating desire, and finally an entire dimension we will never set foot in. Maybe that's the real impossible thing about this painting. Not the geometry, not the theology, the fact that it works at all.